And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, it's the PCC Multiverse coming to you this weekend, where we have our Super Bowl predictions, a recap of the NBA trade deadline, and more. So that'll be a great show for you. It's the PCC Multiverse coming right at you this weekend, right here for the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcast. DBSH, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo! Also, as well, want to go ahead and give some love, as always, to my good friend Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. You see the quality every time out. I put right here on the Kobe pillow with GG right here. Also, as well, canvas art is right behind me with Luka. Kind of worried about Luka and his leg. And also, as well, Kobe Bryant right behind me. If you like that kind of quality in a t-shirt, hat, canvas art, pillow, poster, or more, go ahead and hit up my friend at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. I also host the Lakers Latest channel. Go ahead and check that out as part of the Fan Art Network. Really do try hard to go ahead and get you that quick fix on the 10 to 15, 10 to sometimes 20 minutes of conversation that I bring to you in regards to the latest news and trends going on with the Lakers. So go ahead and check me out on the Fan Arc every morning on Lakers Latest. Really need your help there to get that channel going. Fan Arc is a small, growing company, and I want to give them a hand as far as helping build their absolutely great platform at Fan Arc. Want to go ahead? Yes, Lucas Hurt signed Cam Thomas. There you go, JSJ. He has to clear waivers first, but also as well, want to go ahead and give out some love to everybody out there that was with us for the trade deadline. As far as earlier today, thank you so much for sticking with us for 2.5 hours. Also want to give some love again to Caleb Ponce from the Suave Report for stopping by last night. Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. All the great people who I've been able to talk to in the coming days before the trade deadline. Thank you so much for everything that you do as far as what you do to help us out here at the Lakers Fast Break, and to the people out there who provided so many great comments and questions. I cannot thank you enough for reaching out, no matter what time of the day, right here to me at the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. The Lakers finished off the Grammy road trip, come back home to the friendly confines of the crypt. And who would be waiting for them? A team that has been playing extremely well on the West Coast as of late, and that's the Philadelphia 76ers. And for the first 3 quarters, the Philadelphia 76ers looked really good. Looked like they had put together some things. Also, Joel Embiid is almost looking more and more like the old Joel Embiid as far as it's concerned. So looked like it was kind of concerning. And on top of that, Luka Doncic in the first half came up a little lame, grabbed his, I believe, his left leg. His left leg kind of reached back like it was a hamstring issue. He was held out for the rest of the game. So what will the Lakers do? Well, fortunately, with the Lakers, yes, they had someone leave, but fortunately, they did have someone coming back. And in the second game back, Austin Reaves provided much of the spark for the Lakers throughout the game. He hit 9 of the first 11 shots, absolutely was unreal for quite a spell. And overall, he was 12 of 17 for 35 points. Absolutely a great performance coming off the bench. Maxi Kleber doesn't show up on the scoreboard as far as 4 points and 4 rebounds, but he gave a lot of hustle on both ends of the floor. Plus 23 overall. I think that actually, when you talk about the plus minus in this situation, the plus 23 kind of stays true. Really gave us a good effort today. Looking like he took a sigh of relief that he wasn't part of the trade deadline plans for the Lakers. Rui Hachimura chipped in with 14. The Lakers finally got the bench production we had been hoping for, and that really helped out as the Lakers closed the gap on a double-digit lead for Philadelphia, closed the gap to within 2 at the end of the third quarter, and then took over in the fourth. The start of the fourth quarter, they went on an early run, had it up to 14-point lead themselves, but Philadelphia came roaring back, cut it down to 3, but the Lakers were able to hold out to get that clutch record going even better as the Lakers pulled out a 119 to 115 victory. I believe they're now 31-19 on the season. Man, if they just had a couple more wins, just had a couple more wins that we had talked about, they'd be in third place right now in the Western Conference. As it is right now, they are 8 games out right now of first place in the Western Conference. They're a game behind the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference, 31-19, essentially in the running for fourth place in the Western Conference right now. So good news with Luke Kennard coming to the team and Gabe Vincent going bye-bye, as was mentioned earlier today on our trade deadline show. So hopefully we can talk about that and more. So great to have you here. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford, waiting for my cohorts in crime to come on here. Had a little technical difficulty, so I had to send them a new email on as far as where the link is at. But great to have you here. What are you guys saying out there in the world of the Lakers now? Jeremy said, back up the Brinks truck, Jerry. If you guys want AR, you want to keep AR, you're going to have to back up the Brinks truck. And I've mentioned before, you guys have said that, oh, well, he mentioned once that he was going to be able to, give the Lakers a discount. He is playing like a guy with like that way. When he plays it, when he has the games like these, he is playing like a guy that is absolutely looking for top dollar in the marketplace. So that's something we have to be aware of. And he sure played like it as far as from an offensive standpoint. And the Lakers defense, we need to give credit to the Lakers defense today, especially in that second half. Deflected a lot of balls as far as passes, deflected a lot of passes, got a lot of turnovers later in the game in the second half, and really turned up the defense in that second half to keep the game close in the third quarter. I also want to give credit, and I don't know if this would be put out anywhere else or whatnot, but if you noticed, because of the injury to Luka, they had to change the rotation a little bit. LeBron and Austin Reaves were out with about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And that could have been a very crucial time where the Lakers could have lost a lot of that deficit that they had made up as far as it's concerned. They could have drifted back to 5-10 points. But no, not only did they close the gap, they almost overtook it and got close to within 2 points. So I thought that was a key to giving the Lakers a lot of momentum into the fourth quarter, which they pounced on and capitalized on because they came out storming in the fourth quarter and took over the game and took control from there. So absolutely cannot thank enough as far as what we saw from not only Austin Reaves, Maxi Kleber, but the entire team as far as a defensive standpoint. And as was mentioned, as was put out there on Twitter, a lot of those minutes in the fourth quarter were devoted to Maxi Kleber or no center, and DeAndre Ayton not really much of a factor as far as the game went on. Even though he didn't play terrible when he was in there, it's just a decision that JJ had made to be more effective with small ball, and it obviously paid off as the Lakers again took that lead and never gave it back up as they win once again at home. The friendly confines of the Crypt, 119 to 115. What are you guys out there thinking right now? Truly appreciate you stopping by. Jeremy, yes, he was there. He was there, but JJ decided to go with different lineups, which included Maxi Kleber, who provided some great effort on both ends of the balls. A couple offensive rebounds that really were crucial to the Lakers' success. And also, when he went out of the game, they decided to go to a much smaller lineup, which was effective because without Joel Embiid in the lineup, Philadelphia had struggled as far as their size is concerned as well. JY says, if Luka plays, do the Lakers lose this game? Braun, AR, Luka have no chemistry. Thoughts? Again, they haven't played much together. You're right. And it just seemingly is not going to allow them to play together as a unit. And there is a lot of overlapping in what they do. So tonight, if Luka was there, he did not play well when he was in there in the first half. He missed quite a few shots that he normally hits. And the ball wasn't popping at times, so maybe it should have around the perimeter. Maybe you say that if Luka didn't play tonight, the Lakers would run. I don't know. Again, Luka was not in there, but it definitely looked like a much more well-rounded team. You got contributions off the bench that you normally don't get. You've got AR that was shooting unreal. Now, I don't think that we should count on AR shooting, making 9 of his first 11 shots every single time out. But again, today, 12 of 17, he got to the line. He looked more like the Austin Reaves than we saw in Brooklyn because obviously he's shaking the rust off there after being off more than a month. So absolutely indeed. Kurt Affair says, Wave Austin, blow up this team, bring back Gabe. Good to have you back, my friend. Always good to have you here. Your cynicism is always greatly appreciated. The master joke meister himself, Kurt Affair. Indeed. El Rosso, what's going on, my friend? Hopefully all is well with you. Yes, you are so smart. Jeremy says, I tell you though, Jerry, Maxi gets points so easily on our defense. Well, again, this is something that we have seen quite a bit, Jeremy. Quick guards really have had their way with our defense over the years. This is not a new happening. This is not a new thing. Maxi has destroyed us before, but he does that with a lot of teams. That's why he is playing at an all-star level, is because he is just so fast, so quick, but he's become much more well-rounded in his game, Jeremy. But the Lakers have always had an issue trying to guard quick guards now for quite some time. So this is not uncommon to see him do that. But, as we've seen in recent games against the Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxey has taken advantage. But today, him and despite Joel Embiid having a good game himself, they weren't able to get it done. Maybe you could say they also ran out of gas in the fourth quarter, what have you. The Lakers looked more energized. They looked like they had more energy. They had more effort on the defensive side of the ball, and they also hit the offensive boards, got some really key offensive boards. Maxi Kleber gave them some unexpected lift. He gave them an unexpected lift, and absolutely was great to see what he could do. Nick T says, wow, AR dropped 35 in 25 minutes. Yes, he is still on a minutes restriction. That's why he only played 25 minutes, but obviously he was very good in each of those 25 minutes on the offensive end. Absolutely. You can see that. Defense wins championships, says we are better without Luka. I knew it's coming. You guys are going to be saying it all day long. And there you go. Intel Wild, what's going on, my friend? He says, no Luka, no problem. Just kidding. Come back, Luka. I know you are just kidding, Intel, my friend, but I'm not sure how many of the other individuals there are saying the same because, again, they like to see the fact that the Lakers were able to capitalize and win the game without Luka. So, again, that controversy and that debate will continue on for the Luka haters. Or I don't want to say Luka haters. I just say Luka, not so much of a fanners. How about that, as far as it's concerned? So John says Luke Kennard about to be a good addition. Again, he provides something that the Lakers don't do well traditionally this season, and that is shoot the basketball from deep. He has defensive issues, but JJ has to find ways to keep him out there on the floor so that he can get those looks from three. And if he just shoots his career average, I know he's shooting 50% tonight, from the season. If he gets 45% from three, I think I would be fine because that's his lifetime. That's his career average. I'm good with that. I'm good with that indeed. And here today to go ahead and talk about today's big win is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out at the Joe Soro Experiment on YouTube. Plus also as well, of course, what's going on as well with Simblades, his company that he owns in Southern California. Simblades with a Y.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good win for the Lakers. Luka is going to have an MRI on that leg to see what the kind of extent issues are with that hamstring. So that's never a great sign. But today, off the bench, in a way that you and I had been talking about for a long time, Austin Reaves came to play and looked like the Austin Reaves of old for the Lakers.
Yeah, it hurts to be right, but it hurts so good. And the ADDs are out already with Luka missing the second half, and all of a sudden now we're a better team, right? It was a fun game. I actually enjoyed the game tonight. I think what happened was I think the Sixers relaxed just like their leader does every game, which is Joel Embiid to a T. The reason why Joel Embiid has never been to a conference championship series is because he's massively lazy when he gets lazy. I was trying to think while I was watching the game, what did the Lakers do that was combating that uh, Jamal Wilkes like ability that he has, where he can make any shot from the elbow or from the beginning of the free throw line, right? He just kept making them all first half. Then all of a sudden he disappeared in the second half. And I started watching a little bit more of how they were playing defense with him, and it just obviously looked like his aggressiveness wasn't there. I feel sorry for well, I don't really feel sorry for Philadelphia fans. They're meatheads, but if I was a coach and I saw Joel Embiid play like this, I'd be like, you'd be the best center of all time if you weren't lazy. I would always wonder how he would take that. I'm wondering if anybody had ever told him that. But with that too, is you had some timely shots by Marcus Smart, uh,
Two threes in a
Reeves.
row. Yes, he had two threes. Yep.
Reeves seized the momentum and continued it with very very smart play. And then Kleber, in the absence of Jackson Hayes, became a momentum keeper in getting those rebounds in crucial times. So those are the type of things that championship teams do on the regular. Guys like Kleber, guys like Marcus Smart, who aren't necessarily the one, two, three, or four options, when they make those kind of plays, that's where it makes everybody else's job much easier and kind of puts a dagger in the hearts of the opponent. And as far as Luka's concerned, I don't know what th- is it his hamstring or is it his they said it was a bruise. Which is it?
For it is a tightness in the hamstring. Neither he nor the medical staff thought he could go back into the game. They'll get further testing on it, Joe.
So I think Luka has been laboring pretty much the entire year on that same side. I
He
always catch
does look old. He sometimes just looks like an old man. Sometimes.
yeah, yeah, there's something going on with his body that he's fighting through. And the only thing I can think of is Luca may need to do something proactive in terms of stretching and having his body be able to handle the stop and go of things. I don't know what he does. Losing weight it was a good start, but there's a reason why crash diets don't work. And in a lot of ways, he kind of did have a crash diet because he needed to get into shape for um, for the for the season. But there's got to be consistency still to maintain that weight. Also, to start focusing on the ligaments, the muscles, in terms of recovery. Because as soon as you get to your goal a little bit, a lot of times you kind of start to relax. And for him, it's a little easier to relax and maybe go back to a couple of bad habits because you're playing NBA basketball. Your cardio is going to get rid of a lot of your weight, right, throughout the year. So it's interesting when you look at some of the athletes of the past, when you find out who really ever really gets those pulled hamstrings and pulled groins. You never really heard Kobe, Jerry Rice, those type of players ever pull a hamstring or a groin. Do you remember that? Like those are all preparation things. The
Yes.
body needs to be prepared to handle what it's going to handle. The only time those guys were injured was it when there was a tear in a shoulder or uh, a dislocation in the shoulder or whatever, right?
Hmm.
So I think Luca needs to start. If I could give him some advice, I think Luca needs to really have a lifestyle change. I don't know what he's eating. I don't know what he's drinking, but for a guy that's not jumping out the building, I don't think should be having a problem with his hamstrings and his calves and things like that. I think he should be able to be prepared for that better. But That's me, maybe wishful thinking. Maybe I'm ignorant in the whole thing, and the fact that the NBA maybe is a little too speedy and everybody's hurting below the legs. I don't know.
Once again, it is the Lakers pulling out the win, 119 to 115. The Lakers are 31 and 19. They are 8 games back in the Western Conference. They are fifth place currently, but in an essential tie with Houston and Minnesota for fourth place in the Western Conference. A game behind the Denver Nuggets. And man, if you know a couple of these games, Joe, we talk about it every year. We talk about it every year about there's like 2-3 games where the Lakers should just won, or somebody sits out, and we just talk about these games where you just leave them on the table. 3 games, Joe. 3 games. If they would have just taken 3 games more seriously and put a W on the board, they'd be in third place right now, feeling a little bit more confident, feel a little bit more comfortable in the Western Conference. But JY, I know you had a question earlier, and I'll go ahead and hit that up in a second. But Silver says, "Hey Jay and G, so it looks like Lakers are heading to the best of the rest as far as." Because OKC and San Antonio seem to be tearing themselves out in the Western Conference, just like last year. What are our chances compared to last year? Are we slightly better now?
Slightly better from what?
Last year.
Yes, because we have Luka Doncic.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I think they're a competitive team. We've never said they weren't a competitive team.
They're a better team last year because of Luka Doncic, yes.
But asking them to go through 4 rounds with the current roster they have, that's a tough ask.
Yeah, it's tough because their defense is not good, and LeBron.
They play like they did this second half, Joe. They play defense like that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Sixers rested on their laurels too, because they weren't as aggressive either.
Turned the ball over a lot.
I can't figure out what the hell. What if I was Nick Nurse? I'd be furious right now. What happened from the first half to the second half? This again, part of the problem in the NBA is this. I mean, they should just call it the National Bipolar Association at this point. This in a game, you could have 4 different personalities. I don't understand how this happens. It worked out for the Lakers, good, but the Lakers have been known to do tough stuff like this too. It's just the NBA is just not focused for 4 quarters. But in terms of competitiveness, at this point, all it would take is a couple bad injuries on the path to the finals, and the Lakers could squeak out of it if the Lakers don't get injured. And Luka has a hot streak. That's the only way. Yeah. But if everybody's healthy and focused, no, I don't think they'll get past the second round. But an injury could change things. And that's what's gone on the last few years. So you got to play this out and see if you can get lucky like that.
SGA is currently out through the All-Star break. I'm assuming, when the tests come back on the MRI that he's going to be out for at least a little while, Luka Doncic. I'm just going to assume that. I'm hoping that that's not the case, but we will see what happens. But it never looks good when they are going to an MRI testing and all that. They hold them out as precaution. The next game is on Saturday in prime time on the East Coast. It's a home game against Golden State, so look forward to that. But I wanted to hit you up with JY's question. I'm going to put it here in the chat for everyone. Will the big 3 play together enough to develop any type of chemistry going into the playoffs? Because remember, they have a lot of attributes that blend together nicely, but also overlap, not always in the most efficient of ways. We saw tonight, as far as when Luka was out, LeBron playing the point a little bit more, tried to force some things, didn't always work out. But once they got into a rhythm, once they started sharing the ball, Joe, I think that's what really allowed the Lakers to go ahead and get back into the game.
No, it'll never happen because none of these guys play every day. There's always something that happens where one of them is out. And that goes for all teams. So it's just, to me, chemistry is going to be something where they got to play every day, game in and game out, where they can really, really take advantage of that chemistry. But they're never together. They're never together for a full game on a consistent basis. I'd say after LeBron got there, what was it? Maybe 3 weeks. But then didn't Luka miss some games, and then Christmas hit, and then Reaves was gone? I think if I had to take a guess just off memory, I think they've only played together for maybe 3 weeks, all three of them. So 3 weeks, average game is what, 4 a week? So maybe 12 to, let's say, between 12 and 15 games this year, where all three of them are playing for a full amount of time. Tonight, obviously, that's one that they didn't play together all game. So it'd be a good stat for those of you who can look at it while we're doing the show before the show ends. See how many games all three have played from beginning to end together, and then we can get an idea of what that brings together. What that brings. I do know that the plus minus was not good for all three. Plus minus wasn't good when it was LeBron and Luka, but the plus minus was really good with Reaves and Luka. But that was a couple of weeks ago.
But the plus minus was really good today for one individual who should get a lot of credit. It doesn't show up in the stats, 4 points, 4 rebounds, but Maxi Kleber gave a lot of effort, especially that second half on both ends of the ball. Really had 3 steals too. That should not go unaccounted for, and a plus 23. Now, again, Austin Reaves, like you said, only a plus 5 overall for his 35 points, but that plus minus isn't always indicative of what you see in the game. But, doing the eye test, Maxi Kleber gave you a lot of effort. And this goes into something that was said by Alan here. He said, less distractions now that the trade deadline is over. A lot of guys are not looking over their shoulders as far as being moved or being traded. So with that, they can just focus on playing ball, as he says. As long as they're healthy and get reps together, that's when they get chemistry, he says.
Yeah, sure. I don't know necessarily if the trade deadline was the reason why they played well tonight. I don't think Rui. I don't think Rui really thought he was going to be leaving or getting traded. Obviously, Vanderbilt not. Kleber, sure, maybe for what though? Who was gonna give the Lakers anything for Kleber without Lakers giving up a second round pick? And that's not a smart move. I think the only reason why he gave Vincent was traded is because they got a good deal with Atlanta for a guy that can actually shoot, and all they had to do was give up a second round pick in the next millennium. The most important part of tonight's game is to show the audience that doesn't pay attention to the intricacies of the game is this is what happens when Austin Reaves comes off the bench. If Austin Reaves came off the bench on a stacked starting lineup, it would be an elite team. He's got starter skill sets, but coming off the bench as the sixth man, as the super starter six, it would give that effect in what Manu Ginobili did for the Spurs in the 2000s. We've been watching this game too long not to know this. And Laravia is flourishing with the particular lineup as a starter. I think he's better as a starter than off the bench. His hustle, his nose for the ball's gotten much better as the season's gone on. He's hitting shots every now and then. We need the role players, one, to basically take turns on who's going to be hitting clutch shots or shots that matter or getting that rebound that matters. That's what a role player is to cover for that particular game, whether it's Kleber one game, whether it's Ayton one game, whether it's Smart one game, whether it's Laravia one game. We need one of those guys to always be that guy for every game. Take turns. It's what KCP did. It's what Caruso did. It's what Rondo did when they were winning the championship in 2020. Hell, even Kuzma to some degree, at least on defense, especially towards the end of the run, where he was just very valuable in using his length to make sure that the team was getting what it needed off the bench on defense. If Luka needs to be out for any considerable amount of time, especially if it is a hamstring. Hamstrings are and groins are soft tissue injuries that don't go away quick. I don't know I don't know how that's going to play out. If it's an aggressive one, he's probably going to be out a couple weeks. If it's not an aggressive one, then he'll still probably be out for a few games. I don't know, maybe some rest is my guess based off of the mentality of today's player. And in that, looking at the schedule, it's going to be a tough home stretch here after Golden State. Golden State is, I think, a little vulnerable right now with their situation. I think the Lakers should win on Saturday, but then they face Oklahoma City, San Antonio on back-to-back nights. I think if they can go 1-1 out of that, that's a win, and then they'll have Dallas and then the Clippers without Harden to deal with, and Zubac, which Zubac is always dropping 25 and 12 against us before they face Boston on February 22nd, which is a game, probably one of the few regular season games I really, really want. Like, that's the one I really want.
I did want to mention a couple things. Jeremy says, Jerry, what will we miss about Gabe? Like 2 of his games last week, zero. I will miss 0 about Gabe. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like 2 of his games last week, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I want to go ahead and hit up, of course, Intel says, watching from behind, but if Joe wants to drink tonight, let's do it. I also want to go ahead and hit up something that Kurt says. I see defense, your question too. Kurt says, why would Austin come off the bench when his value is a starter?
His value is better as a starter. In what capacity are you talking about? You want to win? You want to win championships, or you want to win games?
Well, again, because he's going to be paid whatever commensurate value he's going to be paid. You know, is it hard to have or envision? Because you and I always envisioned him at best on a championship run as a guy that's coming you and giving you those points off the bench because of his defensive limitations. But with that, that's why I think that you know, the fact is once he gets paid the $40+ million or whatever he's going to be paid, I think a lot of people will say, oh, it's hard to have that guy on the bench.
Let's look at the basics of this particular team. Let's not look at the future yet, right? You want 3 ball handling players at the same time on the floor to start a game. Does that sound like something that you're taking advantage of? Or would you want to have at least one of them, which you're not going to have LeBron or Luka, right? They're elite players, whereas Austin, I wouldn't say he's elite, but he's extremely good. He's very good. I think most of you think that he's an elite player. He's not. He's a very good player. Very, very good. Getting to that point where he could be an all-star, right? If he had played the full season, he probably would be. The philosophy in that is destruction of the opposition. If you have someone like Austin Reaves coming off the bench, you're going to have a better shot at winning consecutive titles and being a perennial title winner. Because that means basically you have a starting lineup that's going to hold their own. And then when they hold their own, then you send in Austin like San Antonio would send Manu and pretty much just make everyone suffer, which is what that was. If I had to give you something that's related to the Lakers, Lamar Odom was a Super 6. Lamar Odom is one of the more unique talents that we've ever seen in NBA history. He came off the bench and the Lakers for 3 years absolutely killed everyone except for one bad game in 2008 in the finals. One bad game in terms of before it became Game 6 where they couldn't get past Boston. The momentum had been gone at that point. So I'm looking for that. I want that. I've already seen it happen twice, and that resulted in when San Antonio started doing that. I believe it was 2003, and that brought them 4 championships. Lakers did it with Lamar Odom. That brought them 2 championships. So yeah, there's a little bit of history to that on why we're kind of campaigning for that.
So Joe, I don't know if you're going to do the drinking thing for Intel, but he did ask you on that, so that's up to you again. What? I don't know. He said, "Are you going to do the drinking thing?" He said, he's asking. So he said, if you're doing it, you're doing it. If you're not, no. So
I don't
no
see it
worries, me.
anywhere where it says he's drinking.
He put it on a super chat earlier. I had it posted.
I'd see it.
I gotta. All right, hold on. I gotta find it. Hold on. Watching from behind, but if Joe wants to drink tonight, let's do it. Okay.
Was he here still?
He's watching from behind. He watches. He's in the past. See, we're talking now. Intel won't see this until a few minutes later. So he's in the past. It's like going back in a time warp. So there you go. Stefan, I'm going to get your question in a second, but I've also got one from Defense Wins Championships. Want to go ahead and got make sure I got a copy and paste. Just trying to keep up with you guys. Once again, it is the Lakers winning 119 to 115. Also here today is good man indeed. It is, of course, my good friend, a great part of what we did as far as our NBA trade deadline coverage. It is, of course, the guy who's probably not the most enthusiastic about his teams right now because they kind of did right there for you. Well, you could be worse. You could be a Chicago Bulls fan right now. I mean, you've got the world's leading supply of second round draft choices, 9 second round draft choices. Yeah, during this trade period. It is, of course, the guy from I Got Next Sports Media. It is Legend. Legend, great to have you here. Of course, wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts on the game. Austin Reaves, after the rust he showed in Brooklyn, shaking that off and really keeping the Lakers in the game until they started taking over with some a concerted effort on defense, some great effort in the second half by Maxi Kleber. Again, just absolutely great execution at the start of that fourth quarter to get them the victory. I've got your questions, guys, lined up. But yes, what are your thoughts, my friend, on the game tonight?
I would definitely like to say, Austin Reed had a heck of a good game. Welcome back to AR, and he played well tonight. He stepped up, did big, got a lot of good defense. That second half defense is what you need to see a lot more often from this team. They look like they know what the word defense looks like. So I give them credit. They played some good defense tonight. Made a big difference. And I still got to say the biggest thing I really would say about that whole game though is I definitely expected from Austin Reed to come out here and give you a 30 piece in his second game back. So I give him props on that. I thought it a little too soon to expect that, but I guess Austin said, I am him. He showed it tonight. I'm him.
He showed it tonight, indeed. We've talked about Joe and I, and you've heard this ad nauseum about how we think on a championship team because of his defensive inefficiencies, but also the fact that he would be just terrorizing second team as far as coming off the bench late first quarter, early second quarter, and then you keep him in the game and when it counts in clutch time. It just seems like he would just be more advantageous for him as a guy coming off the bench as a 20+ point scorer coming off the bench. But again, things are what they are, and what you're going to have to pay him most likely will not happen for that because I don't. Nas Reed, I think, is the highest paid bench player, and he's what 25 ish.
Yep, about 25 ish.
Yeah, so I don't foresee that happening. But your thoughts on Austin Reaves as far as his best attributes and where it could be best applied?
Personally, I always feel like he should have been coming off the bench. I really feel like if he took the Ginobili role, that would be the biggest piece towards putting the whole championship team together. Even though I get that his production is definitely on the starters level, but it's hard to win when you have 3 of your best players. They all just don't play defense that great. If he would have been willing to come off that bench, that's basically his unit. That second unit, you are the star player of that second unit. And I feel like he just fit better off that bench. I think once they build his team around Luka properly, if Reeves is still there, I would really have a long conversation, tell him, you the final piece to put this whole thing together. Come off that bench. That's an easy 25 points a game right there. Easy. You would be having field there. Easy trip to the All-Star game at that point, too.
There you go. Again, a Manu Ginobili player has been pointed out by Joe. By the way, the people sending along good thoughts to you in regards to hopeful on what Atlanta can build, but also interesting thoughts on your two favorite teams trading with each other for those players. If you guys get a chance, check out our NBA trade deadline preview because you really went into that as far as the Porzingis trade is concerned, Legend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna really miss him too much in Atlanta. I saw other people in Atlanta ain't gonna miss him either. I actually saw a Atlanta fan, forgot he was on the team, honestly. So, I mean, the mysterious illness just continue to go, and they're gonna be in Golden State, just collecting the check and saying he's sick. And I don't know what you got, man. I
Well,
don't know what. I don't know.
it's not going to move the needle much unless he
No.
plays full time. And as we've seen, playing full time has been really hard for him to do as of late. But Joe, again, Intel Wild said 5 shots in 20 minutes. It's there. He said he's watching from behind. So that's entirely up to you. But I wanted to hit you up this question in regards to what Defense Win Championship says. He says, with all these injuries to Denver and OKC, because Denver has a myriad of injuries as well. And again, we're only a game out from them in the Western Conference race right now. Are you mad the Lakers didn't go all in? I'm going to say right now, I'm not surprised. I'm just at this point, I was mad that they didn't go all in the summer. Defense Wins Championships, and that they couldn't do more to provide Luka and then also LeBron to an extent a better, well-rounded team than what they did. Joe, are you mad that the Lakers didn't do more at the trade deadline than Luke Kennard?
No.
I didn't think so. Again, it's just I'm kind of numb at this point, as in regards to quite honestly.
No, yeah. You cannot risk building this thing correctly because you're maybe going to win this year. It's just too much of a risk. You would delay Luka's prime. You would delay the championship start possibly a year. It's just not. I still think that the management, the real management, not the ones that are in denial and who's running this thing. There's so many damn stubborn jackasses out there that think that Pelinka's still running this thing. There's too much at stake here with Luka. You got gifted a player, and if they win a championship, let's say in the next year or two, that trade is going to magnify to even bigger things, in that the Lakers will have gotten one of the biggest steals in the history of any trade. So you can't risk going all in. Plus, you also have to understand, what the hell were they going to give up to go all in for what? We don't have any draft picks to send to Milwaukee to go get Giannis now. And even if you had to give up Reaves, how's that going to work? I don't know what the Lakers could have given to go all in. They don't have anything. And that's it. There's nothing else to talk about.
I will just say that.
Here's the thing, actually. Here's a funny scenario, although it would be good still. What if the Lakers win it? Now what?
You and I have said, if the Lakers win it this year, we'd love to have everybody come.
Yeah, LeBron can't leave at that point. He's got to come back. So we got to do this again next year.
We'll just have, we'll eat. I don't know, whatever they do. If they win, we'll think of something crazy to happen. As far
I'll eat a slice of pizza. I'm not eating anything anymore.
Okay, no more olives for you. Okay, I'll eat a slice of pizza.
I'm done. I'm done with that charade.
Yes, okay, but again, we would love to be laughed and mocked at or whatnot, because that means the Lakers win championships. That's what we want more than anything, is the Lakers to win championships. So yes, I was kind of bummed in the summer when they did do it, but now I'm just kind of numb to it. This is what was, had been hinted all along, defense, that they weren't going to go all out. They didn't have a myriad of assets at this point to go all out or to go all in. And it's reflective of what they have. They don't have a myriad of assets, so they can't get a whole lot back right now to really help this team get to where it needs to go. Legend, of course, you've seen the injuries around the league. There's the Denver. Peyton Watson is the latest to get an injury with his hamstring, although actually the latest could be Luka.
What is going on with everybody's hamstrings?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's now, it went from calf strains to hamstrings now. It's so weird. Gordon, according to what we talked about earlier with Defense Wins Championships, Gordon likely can't survive the playoffs. Of course, look at SGA with his injury. J-Dub is injured with his wrist. I mean, the possibility is there for a team like ours, or mine, excuse me, the Lakers, or even yours to an extent if Porzingis actually plays to the level of Porzingis. There is an outside chance that Curry could go nuclear for a couple rounds and carry the Golden State Warriors a long way. But with Curry's knee is an issue right now. He wasn't even in the lineup tonight. So yeah, and there's a lot of issues and concerns. And right now, I just wish it was, like one of our teams could take advantage, but I'm not sure if that's the case because every time we turn around, there's another injury floating around in the league.
Yeah, it's like the injury bug, just see him biting everybody left and right. You know what's funny, Jared? I actually sat there and thought about one of my kids in my class brought that up today about, everybody getting hurt left and right. And somebody was like, what if San Antonio Spurs somehow do the unthinkable and make the final because everybody just keep getting hurt and they take advantage of it? I'm like, man, that could happen. I'm like, that could happen for the Lakers too, or the Warriors get lucky and so on and so forth. I would have said Clippers, but they rebuilding. I don't know what they're doing, but it is amazing how so many people having some of the similar injuries all around the league, and it's like at the end of the season, I don't know if maybe the commissioner need to have a talk about that. Like it's too much of the same injury happening. It's too much of. It wasn't like this in the 2010s and early 2000s. You see none of this.
Well, I'll tell you what, kudos to your team at Golden State because they won tonight with a lineup of Green, Santos, Melton, Moody, and Spencer. Pat Spencer. Who knew? Okay, how much money would you have put on Pat Spencer going for 20 and winning you a game in Phoenix?
Boy, I would have betted on that.
Yeah, well, it happened tonight as the Golden State Warriors did pull out the victory. That helps the Lakers, Joe. That helps the Lakers a lot because it's one of those teams mired in that 4th through 7th running right now in the Western Conference. So any loss by those guys is greatly appreciated. But Stefan Piscano, who I'm on his show, if you want to go ahead and check out his channel, the Stefan Piscano podcast, right there on YouTube. He said, is it even on anyone's radar, Joe, to consider the possibility of LeBron running the second unit for this team? Or are we not allowed to discuss that option because his name is LeBron?
Well, you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want, but it's not realistic.
Yeah. And again, I know he's a big supporter of Rob. And again, Rob...
Who?
Stefan, as far
why
as
are you a supporter of Rob?
We had a great conversation on that very subject, and I'll just leave it at that on his channel for over an hour.
Check that out.
Yeah, again, it is what it is. But Rob is going to be under scrutiny, Joe, going forward. As far as
he's gonna be under scrutiny.
Well, he is under scrutiny.
Rob is gonna be done very soon here, so I just don't care to.
You think it's going to happen at the end of the season?
Well, he's done already. He's just a figurehead. He's probably there just to make Jeannie.
Unless the Lakers win.
If the Lakers win, I still don't think he's in charge of anything right now, other than just doing the pencil pushing.
Yes, we did discuss other stuff as well, Stefan. Absolutely, indeed. So, should I tell officially Intel, by the way, that you're not drinking tonight?
What's he throwing your way?
He didn't specify numbers. He just said 5 drinks in 20 minutes, 5 shots in 20 minutes.
Let me know what he's giving you.
Okay, well, he'll see this in a few minutes because he's always watching from behind. It's like in the back. It's like a time machine. But once again, with the Lakers, it is the 119-115 victory. Legend, again, I'll bring it back to you. The Lakers, I think, one of the key points to the game, in my opinion, was about 2 minutes left when the Lakers, because of the injury to Luka, had to change up the rotation and also the minutes restriction. Because, yes, Austin Reaves is still on a minutes restriction right now. They didn't have either in the game. And it could have easily gotten away from them very quickly because the Lakers have messed up end of quarters before on occasion this season. But you know what? I'm going to give credit to those guys that were out there on the floor. And I think it sends a message. And, I do think that at the trade deadline, if you do not move, and a lot of those guys that were out there on the floor tonight were talked about being moved, I think it does give you a sense, at least, like, you know what, a sigh of relief that I can, now focus in on what I'm doing a little bit more clearly and not have to look over my shoulder and say I have to pack up and move somewhere else. Legend.
Yeah, I do think, for the role players, ones that know they might would have been involved in the trade, they can breathe a little better knowing that that trade deadline has passed. I know a good prime example, just like with us in real life when we're at work and our boss is micromanaging us doing evaluation time. When they done what they got to do and they finally back off, we can breathe a little bit. We can work a little more comfortable, not feeling that pressure of knowing somebody watching me 24/7. And I think that's how a lot of them guys on the court most likely feel now that deadline is passed. You can just play ball and then get through the season, and whatever happens in the summer happens.
Absolutely. Joe, the Lakers did make one trade. Rob Pelinka did make one trade, and that involved getting rid of Gabe Vincent. Again, I said earlier, Jeremy asked me the question on what I thought that Gabe brought to this team. And I said that in like 2 of his games last week, 0. He brought 0 to this team, and I'm glad he's gone. I think a lot of people are glad he's gone. Absolutely, quite frankly.
He free cardio lessons.
Now, yeah, exactly, free cardio, and now you have cardio on your team in Atlanta. Good luck with that one, Legend.
It'd be in Magic City most of the time.
Yeah, there you go. Joe, I want to ask you this because El Rosto, great. Thank you so much for the super chat, El Rosto. He says because Kennard can lock down 1 to 5 at the same time. Luke Kennard is coming back, does something the Lakers desperately need, Joe, and that is shooting on a consistent basis. He's averaging 50% from 3 on the year, and his overall career is 45. And you know what? You and I both know that most of these players, when they come to the Lakers, whatever the bright lights, so Hollywood, whatever, they always almost always regress in their shooting. Rui is one of the exceptions, but they almost always regress in their shooting. I'm just asking if he can shoot his average. If he can shoot 45% from 3, that would be a welcome addition to guys coming off the bench for one of the worst productive benches outside of tonight that in the NBA. That being said, Joe, Luke Kennard, the key for JJ is how can he find ways to keep him out of there, because he's bounced around the league. You're like, how does a 45% three-point shooter bounce around the league like he can? That's because defensively it's always been an issue. So what does JJ need to do to keep him out there so he can get those looks from 3?
Keep shooting threes at a 50% clip.
Well, he was doing that in Atlanta, and look where he is now.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing getting rid of Gabe Vincent, and if you can actually get someone that can actually shoot, that's even better. That's just
was
gravy.
This more about getting rid of Gabe Vincent?
I would like to think that, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I think Gabe Vincent was an atrocious Laker, much like Kendrick Nunn. If not
no more
worse.
Miami guards. No
if
more
not
Miami
worse,
guards.
yeah, if not worse, because at least Kendrick Nunn didn't play enough to really gauge what the hell he was doing. Gabe Vincent had all the opportunities to be useful on this team and didn't do jack shit for 2.75 years. And it's just he has been the most frustrating player this year for me. So it's nice that the one guy that's frustrated the hell out of me all year for 3 years now, for the 3rd year, is gone. DeAndre Ayton might fill that slot a little bit going into whatever they're going to go into here towards the end of the year. But he has his moments. At least he's useful in terms of scoring and doing certain things. So I don't know if he'll ever be at that level. Kleber was a guy that I wasn't too happy with, but then again, he was a throw-in for a Luka trade, so it's hard to get really upset with that. The stuff I cannot stand with what's happened with the Lakers the last 3-4 years is their shitty direct drafting, and they're horrible. Up until right now, it's looking like Laravia is a good sign. The MLE type signings in the summer, they've been coming up lame on those decisions, and that's where a lot of the disdain comes from with Rob Pelinka. It looks like Rob Pelinka isn't really necessarily paying attention to the details of his job. He's a general manager. He is not a player personnel guy. And the reason why they don't have a player personnel guy, and I don't care what title she gave him, that's who he is. He's a general manager of basic shit. He is not a talent evaluator. He's not going to go do his job, do the job that this team needs, which is get young talent so it could supplement what they've had the last few years. It's been a complete dud. Connect has been a dud. JHS was a dud. JHS. Yeah, JHS.
JHS.
It's been so long since
So
gone.
it wasn't that long ago. We're
Yeah,
already forgetting his
JHS was,
initials.
and think about that for a second, guys. The Lakers didn't pick in the 20s and the late 20s. This was mid first round. Imagine if they were able to pick serviceable players in those two spots. They're not having these many problems. Imagine that. And then if you pick the right guys, and they've been absolute shit up until LaRavia at this point. Imagine if you had a couple guys before this last year that were capable. You'd have 4 players on this team. Now, you look how much your depth changes. So it's frustrating, but it's over. We're going to have competency here very soon. I don't think we're going to have a lot of problems in terms of getting the players that we need, especially when you have the ability to get something and then you decide that you want to have a fucking father and son dance instead of trying to pick talent. And this is the result of it. Think about that for a second.
Well, we might go from father, son, brother.
I was pissed off that I got so pissed off to the point where I told you to take that down because I hated looking at it. I hated feeling like that. But then again, I changed my mind about it. I said, no, I want everybody to see that in 10 years so that they can ask me about it. What the fuck, dude? How can you say that to somebody?
Nobody will see it on TikTok.
Because I said F Genie for that because the root of that is, what the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to field a basketball team here? Or are you trying to do charity? This is the problem with a lot of businesses. This isn't just the Laker thing. Are you here to make people feel good, or are you here for quality? That's where that anger came from. And look at what I just painted for you, right? Look at the difference when you actually do pick the right people. This is what happens. Now, I don't know what the hell Kennard's going to do. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. Couldn't care less if Kennard is a dud or not. It doesn't matter. Gabe is gone.
He's got an expiring too.
Gabe is gone. They gave a second-round pick in the next 50 years. Who gives a shit? And it's a risk worth taking. If he starts hitting shots when it matters, then it's already a good thing, right? And it's not likely he's going to be back anyways, unless he goes ape shit and helps him win a championship. So I'm just happy that they got rid of that. I'm not going to go as far as calling him a cancer. He wasn't a cancer, but he is one of the poster boys of inadequacy in terms of what this front office has been in the last 5 years.
So go from a father and son to hopefully a brother. Yes, a brother combination. Well, if you already had the Antetokounmpo experience before, Legend, got us a title. No, he didn't actually play to that much to get us a title.
He passed the water bottles down.
There you go. Absolutely. But you know what? If it means another title, bring both of the brothers. Bring all 3 of the extra brothers out there. As far as that, we've got 3 two-way spots. So there you go. Absolutely. There you go indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers winning 119-115. I'm here along with Joe Soro and Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this, Legend. Okay, again, as the way the league is now shaped out, this feels like the second half of the season. I understand it's not based on games, but once you get past the trade deadline and even past the All-Star, it just feels like it's starting to go downhill right about now. With that said, a lot of these teams now know the roster that they're having going forward. With your teams and ours, it looks like it's just something that we have to focus in on, that if this teams or are these teams able to compete, and injuries, like you said, are a big key to that. Injuries could keep a lot of these teams in the race and could keep a lot of these teams confident on, possibly challenging for a title.
Yeah, the way that everyone in the West is constantly getting hurt, that could make a big difference on how things may shape out in the West versus if everyone was healthy, which is why I guess one of my kids in my class was mentioning the San Antonio Spurs breaking through when people didn't expect to happen. Stuff like that end up happening, or maybe the Lakers break through, or maybe some other team, the Suns or somebody else, Timberwolves break through. It could make a big difference in this West right now, and we'll see how the Thunders hold up without their head leader, and we'll see how Denver been doing okay with their injuries so far. And I think Houston just lost tonight, but they ain't injured. But we'll see how it plays out. But these injuries could make a big difference in these playoffs. But knowing a lot of these teams, probably about April or so, people start resting, started throwing games towards the end of the season and getting ready for playoff runs.
Look, there's a difference between what Giannis did with his brothers and what happened with LeBron and his son. They used draft capital to draft him.
And that's
Giannis's
true.
brothers came in roster filling useless 13, 14 slots. There's a difference. Remember I told you guys there was a show we did. They could have had Bronny without drafting him.
I don't want to say. Let me just say this. I want to correct you one thing. I don't think those two-way slots are useless because there's actually a few teams they've actually turning their guys, their two-way guys, into contracts, full-fledged contracts. Some of those guys have really produced. Caleb Love in Portland. I guess there's guys in Philadelphia, Denver that have really done that have gotten their contracts changed from two ways to contracts. I don't want to say they're totally useless.
No, they're not useless. No. Then if anybody knows that's not useless, it's the Lakers because they've gotten 2 free agents in the last 7 years that have become immensely successful and
Nick Smith Jr. has helped us.
But
win
my
a
thing is the focus. Okay, I swear to you, if they had brought in Bronny as a free agent, I would not have had the venom I have now. I swear. If they had brought him as a free agent, I would have been all right. Well, okay, if that works, let's see if he can. But the fact that they spent a draft pick in a time where they needed players, they don't have a lot of access to players of their choice. They don't have access to getting talent because of the lack of cap space. The exceptions give you a couple here and there, really just one that usually matters. And that's even got some restrictions to it, especially if you're getting close to the second and first aprons. It's hell. So those picks have become valuable. Second round picks have become more valuable in the last decade than they ever have before that. Okay. And it was slowly trickling in the late 2000s. It's like Manu kind of started the ball rolling a little bit. And remember also, guys, the Spurs got Tony Parker in late in the second. I'm sorry, late in the first. That was what pissed me off. If he had come like Thanasis did, I swear I wouldn't have gotten mad. Not even a little bit. But they thought about the story before winning. And to me, I'll never forgive from a business standpoint, from a winning standpoint, you will never be forgiven for that. That will always be the last thing I say to you. Oh, you were wanting to win, right? Well, why did you do this? They're not going to have an answer. They'll get defensive. And the defensive retort would be, you don't know anything about basketball. You don't know this, you know that. And then that idiot moron, Rich Paul, comes in and makes it even worse and opens the wound again with his stupid commentary. Oh, they were going to draft Bronny anyways. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just pull that out of not only your ass, but you pull it out of both your ears at that point because you ain't hearing anybody. You're not listening at all. You're in your own head. So how this plays out this year, how it plays out with Giannis, and of course, right now, Giannis with his little tweets. I wish somebody would tell him that, dude. You're not tricking anybody with that, too. By the way, is it a coincidence, Gerald, that he took out that tweet after the deadline stopped?
Oh yeah,
the deadline. If he truly believed that, if he was going to trick me with that bullshit, he would have done that the moment Shams pulled that shit out and said that he's looking to leave. Right? Doesn't that make sense, guys? If I'm not going anywhere, okay? I'm happy where I'm at. And somebody says, "Oh, Joe wants to go. He wants to get out of where he is." I'd be like, "What? Who the hell told you that?" Well, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this. This is pussy shit. Okay? You can talk smack online. Don't get me wrong. I do that. It's fun. But when it comes to real shit, I'm grabbing the first popular whatever. They all suck these days, but try to find one that's got half a brain instead of no brain and say, I don't know who started this rumor. I don't even know who this guy is. Kind of do what LeBron did with Windhurst. I would have done the same thing. Like, I don't even know who the hell this guy is. This guy's, what is he, living in my house? Was he in the guest room knowing what I'm doing? I ain't going anywhere. I'm staying in Milwaukee. He should have done that a month ago if he was really about it. No, he waited, and this is where he screwed up. He should have waited more instead of literally, 10 minutes after the deadline ended? So he's just covering his tracks at that point. It was a PR spin. And by the way, he's not winning in Milwaukee. No one's going to Milwaukee. No one's going to Minnesota willingly. No one's going to Cleveland willingly. LeBron already showed the world that 15 years ago, 16 years ago now. So whenever somebody talks about, Jordan never left and Kobe never left and all these guys never left, I go, well, you got to factor in the times. Like, why would Isaiah leave Detroit for what? Why would Jordan leave Chicago? Why would Kobe leave L.A.? I mean, I know Kobe wanted to leave, but cooler heads prevailed at that point. LeBron left because he knew. He tried to get Chris Bosh to come to Cleveland. Chris Bosh is like, I love you, Bron, but I ain't going to Cleveland. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. It's either that, or do you want a career like your boy in Anaheim, Gerald? Right? You want to be Ernie Banks?
Well, it's not my boy anymore because I'm no longer a fan of the Angels. They're such an inept organization.
Well, that's why I said your guy. I'm not saying the Angels in general. And again, I love that. I mean, Matt Trout is, to me, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Well, again, it's stupidity. They should have traded him. They should have traded both of them for just a franchise altering and making trades. Multiple players. You could have set up the foundation for your organization for a decade, Joe, if you traded those two and were smart about it. And they didn't. They held on to them, and they let Ohtani walk out for nothing, and they let Trout stay.
I think that one is
he just went.
That one is a bad one. You have any idea what people would have traded Ohtani for just 2 months? For just 2 months, even if they knew they weren't going to keep him. And I know that's probably why they didn't go after him, because I think everybody knew where he was going, number one. But I would have said, why don't you take advantage of at least 2 of those months, right? But then they would have had to have given up too much. And maybe that's what Anaheim was asking for. I don't know. We'll never know in the end. But the point is we are investing how many hours today, Gerald? On this thing,
2.5 now, 3.5 in. 3.5.
So 3.5 hours, and then we just watched a basketball game for 2.5 hours.
Yes.
So when you come back at us and say we're just a bunch of fucking douchebags that are sitting on a couch, we spent 6 fucking hours. We're going to spend 7 hours with this shit. So damn right we have a right to say something. And I'm not just saying something like some jackass at a bar. I'm not saying that. I'm thinking about logical stuff that's going on, and that's where that intensity lies. And you guys, what's great is I've liked. You guys are going to really like the coverage for the Dodgers this coming year, because this is really the first time I'm going to be able to do all this stuff with my own gig, where I got a nice little rhythm going. I got my shows kind of categorized. When you win 2 straight championships, it's very, very hard to rant a lot on the negatives. What it's going to be is it's going to be a little bit more of how to maintain what's going on. And that's a little easier to do without a lot of drama. And I know a lot of people like the drama too, but the drama is going to be more kind of towards the opposition. That's usually what's happened in the past. When the Lakers were winning back-to-back championships with Kobe and Powell, when they were three-peating, the venom started going towards the opposition. I wasn't really worried about my team. That's what's going to happen here because you can see that they're looking for blood even after a back-to-back title run. They want blood for the third one. And that same management, that same mentality that now is taking over the Lakers, you're going to start seeing that now. You're going to start seeing the negativity towards the opposition now, which is really where I always want to be.
I just want to mention, if you guys ever come to Vegas and you're looking for pizza, they have a ton of places here. A lot of them are good. Metro, and there's quite a few others. But try Brooklyn's Best in the downtown Arts District. Had that a couple weeks ago, and it is really good. Plus, they're creative. They have traditional style pizzas. They have the pizzas where they put the crust on top and on the bottom. They do pans. Yeah. You guys want to meet me there? I'll meet you there at Brooklyn. It's really good. Really good. Just a cheap plug for that. But Legend, getting back to you, my friend, when it comes to what we're seeing now with the NBA as it leaves the trade deadline and we reflect back on it for just a moment, who do you think is the winner, the big winner, and the big loser at the trade deadline?
The big loser to me, I'm gonna say my Warriors. They the biggest losers to me. At least one of them. They wanted to lose. May not be the biggest, but they wanted the losers.
They tried, Legend. They tried, man. Yeah. They tried. And they're in purgatory. It's not really their fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they signed Draymond. I thought that was a mistake, but when they did sign him, but there's nothing though. They tried. They tried to get Giannis over there, and he did. They said no. So that's
that was with 4 picks.
Yeah, 4 picks.
That was with 4 picks.
Unprotected picks.
Yeah.
I was very
surprised. Unprotected picks. That was. Oof.
Yeah, that's pretty smooth right there. That's a good offer. I mean, you can't do that.
And your loser?
I can't. Well, it looks good on paper, but I really want to say I might have to throw to Cleveland. I'm not crazy about James Harden. I just don't trust him. I don't see it over and over and over. What happened with him? I feel like Cleveland may have bit off a chance, but
I just there might be something wrong with that toe of Garland. I really think that there might be a concern with him. But that is a good point. It's a good point.
He's got turf toe. He's fucked.
Oh yeah.
Well, I talked about it, Joe. I talked about it that I heard.
I
that
remember.
He had that specially a plate in his. Yeah, if you're talking about that as a 26-year-old already, that's not good, Joe.
That sounds like Deion Sanders' problems, and then that same injury cut Jack Lambert's career short. Turf toe is a dude. Deion lost his toes years later because of what happened with that, and I'm sure it was from something else too. I'm not trying to be a doctor, but again, turf toe. I always remembered the turf toe between Deion, Jack Lambert, and then when you said what because I didn't know, I hadn't paid attention to what was going on with his. I just know he was injured, but as soon as I heard anything metal, anything like that on that area, I'm like, oh shit! If he has turf toe, that he's gonna be done. Like, he's gonna have to retire. You cannot.
I think he had surgery in the off season already for it.
That's a tough one.
So, Joe, who is your winner and loser of the trade deadline?
I would say the winner.
I think you already mentioned it already, though.
I gotta say, Indiana was a winner today. The way, and I was talking to defense. Is it defense?
Defense wins championships.
Defense wins championships. When Halliburton comes back, remember I told you guys earlier. I said if they had Zubac last year in their run, they probably won the championship.
Yeah,
because Miles Turner was a disaster. Miles Turner, if he had played just 3/4 of his ability, they would have won.
He would have bodied up Holmgren. And
right.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'd say for me, my first feeling is that they're the winners because they were able to get a bona fide, probably all-star center for next year in the East. Siakam is an all-star. Nebhard, Namesmith, and then you got hopefully a healthy Halliburton, and you got one of the best coaches there in the game. I think they bounce back pretty quick, especially in the East. The loser is Minnesota. Minnesota needed a guy to get over, and they couldn't get it. They didn't need to get Giannis. They didn't need to get Giannis, but they needed like another guy. I don't know if John Morant would have been the answer. Probably not, but they needed one more guy to kind of say, all right, now we have Edwards like in his prime. There's been a couple of conference title appearances, but we need to get to the finals now. They needed to get one more guy, and they didn't get him.
There you go, Left. My name is Gerald Glassford. Just wanted to put that up there. So Gerald Glass right here. That's me. Joe, again, and Legend, appreciate your input on that. I'm just going to tell you my winner. We'll see what happens with Indiana, but you could be right on that one. That was a good call. I'm going to say it's Boston. I hate to say it, and I hate it's it, but they not only got a center as a stretch five, but they got under the tax, Joe. Remember, and I guess the graphic that Bobby Marks put it up best during the summer, Joe. They were actually had a projected a salary of over $500 million, and were able to cut that down to under about $180 million. So they're under the tax. They went from here to there and got players that might able to help them now along with it. And you've talked about Brad Stevens as a possible go-get for the Lakers. I think that's how you get it done. I think that's how you get it done indeed.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. They're Brad Stevens with this move, especially if they end up winning a championship, either this year or next year. There's probably an argument that he's the best, even above Sam Presti. And again, that's you're both. Whoever picks who is right at that point, but it's definitely in line. It's 1A at that point because there's too much talent there. This guy has a knack of fixing things on the fly, adding and subtracting at the same time without losing. That's very hard to do that. It's very hard to subtract what you don't want and bring in something better. Usually when you're in that situation, you have the Rob Pelinkas making those moves, which is nothing. So you're getting a chance to see the two sides, right? The two sides of, because I still think that if Rob had any say, a real say, I mean, they probably let him do it, but it's probably not the case. And this is more for the last 5 years, not so much this season, but the talent is great with Stevens because he knew, much like how Jerry West knew, that, you know what, I enjoyed coaching. I'm sort of good at it, but I'm probably going to be better in the front office. And I think the fact that he knew that about himself and the fact that he's doing what he's doing only adds to his legend in terms of his decision making. He's a ridiculously good decision maker.
Yes, defense. Getting McCain was a good move, and under the radar, kind of a sneaky move, and getting rid of Jang, one of Presti's few mistakes, was good. It's interesting. He came in with three first rounders, and he left for 3 second rounders. So I'll just leave it at that. But my loser, though, Legend, I could easily say it's all the teams that were in the Giannis sweepstakes, including your Warriors, Miami, New York, and Minnesota. And it's easy to go ahead and point the finger at all of them because they weren't allowed to do much while they were held in limbo by the Giannis. In fact, what was it? Was it the Kessler sweepstakes that initially? No, the Triple J sweepstakes that Golden State was in, and they backed off because Giannis was supposedly came available. So they lost pursuit of that because they offered 2 picks to Memphis and that got turned down, but they were in the middle of negotiating. Giannis suddenly became available, so they hung up the phone on Memphis and lost out on Triple J. So you could say that Golden State was a big loser in this situation, but I'm going to say unless the pick falls right, you could say the Clippers lost the most. And I will say this on a caveat because that Zubats trade, Legend, I mean, it could be something where it could be a Vlade Divac for Kobe type deal, but that's only if this 2026 pick lands between 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If the pick for Indiana lands anywhere else in the first round, Indiana gets it. So it's a very unusual protection. Keep an eye on that. So for now, I'm just going to say it's the Clippers are the big loser of the day because they were actually on their way. They had played better than anyone in the NBA leading up to this past weekend, and it's just all fallen apart from there.
So what do you think? They're going after Giannis in the summer? Is that why they're opening this up?
Possibly. Because now the Clipper we talked about, and by the way, DBSH says Austin Reaves MVP campaign tonight. Great to have you here. Yo, that's a good question, Joe, because we talked about all the teams that are 500 that have cap space, significant cap space this summer is essentially the Lakers. Well, if you count the Clippers in that mix, guys, and I'll bring it back to you, Legend, the Clippers do have now a significant amount of cap space, whether they liked it or not.
Yeah, they do got cap space after losing Harden, trading him off, and he just traded Zubac off. And at first I was wondering, was Kawhi next to go and they're going to go and rebuild? But I guess not. They killed Kawhi. So Kawhi's still there. So I guess maybe they're putting their stuff in the situation of trying to shoot their shot at Giannis in the summer too. But it's going to be interesting to see how this Giannis thing plays out. Some teams could end up getting messed up trying to put all their eggs in that one basket.
I'm most likely they will not lose, Joe, their Indiana picks that they got. They got 2 first-round picks for him. Again, that's contingent on where that will land. If the 2026 pick does not land where the Clippers can benefit from it, then it's a farther down the road first-round pick for them. It was still, they'll have lots of cap space and some assets to go with. But Joe, do you see them as viable contenders for Giannis? Because there's still the aspiration thing looming over their head.
The Clippers?
Yes, because we will also have cap space this summer as well.
I wouldn't worry about competing with them.
Because they were targeting 27. But now because of what they did with Harden and Zubac,
Giannis is staying in Milwaukee or he's going to the Lakers.
Okay.
If New York had a shot, if that's indeed where he really wants to go, it still would make sense to me. Does he really think he can win with Jalen Brunson there? He can win with Luka. And the Lakers are likely going to keep Reaves. So imagine getting Giannis with Reaves there and Luka. It's just if he wants to win, that's the spot. If he wants everything, it's the spot. The stage, the notoriety, the uptick in endorsements, playing with Luka Doncic, who's going to feed him until Luka falls apart. Right? It makes too much sense to go to LA at a time where they will have the assets and the open spots to have him there. Or he stays in Milwaukee, stays loyal, stays in Milwaukee.
That would be the worst of all scenarios, defense. That if, let's say, that first round pick from Indiana does not fall between 5 and 9, and also as well, they lose to the extent that they now give the Oklahoma City Thunder legend a lottery pick as well. So
you want me to give the elevator speech?
This
pitch to Giannis?
Yeah. Okay, coming up. I'll do that next, Joe. I'll do that next.
Because I've been asked by the left on base asked me.
Yeah, I saw that. Legend, your thoughts on my friend on that as far as the possibility of the Clips really getting clipped or finding possibly 2 first-round draft choices?
I would ask the Clippers, whose side are you on? Why are you helping them? They don't need no more help. They don't need no more picks. They got plenty. How many more top picks do they need to basically replace the expensive person? Do the same thing with a cheaper person? Like, come on, man. You just set them up better and better for the future. Like, if I'm Oklahoma, I'm smiling. I would hate it for me, wise, because I'm like, you just helping the competition stay afloat, stay up top. At this point, I'd be like, well, the salary cap ain't gonna affect them at all. What they care? Fine, I lose Lou Dort. I just take a cheaper version of the same person. So it's like I hate it because it's a disadvantage for me. I don't have that many draft picks like they got. So, hey man, Sam Preston, man.
Sam Presti's there smiling in his office right now. I mean, that it looked like they were not going to get that Clippers pick. Now, with what's happened, it looks like they will.
Now they're going to get it.
There you go. Joe, you were asked about pitching Giannis, the elevator pitch to Giannis in the offseason. What would that consist of?
Well, I'd say, listen, what better way to finish your career than to be a freak with another freak in Luka Doncic? And in terms of what we're going to be doing here in LA, we are going to be perennial winners, and I'm talking about winning championships with you here. You will be able to get all the money you want that you can get, the max money you can get, the super max when it's available. You'll have a chance to play on the biggest stage in basketball, which is the Lakers, because when it's you and Luka together, it's going to be like, essentially it's going to be like Shaq and Kobe again in terms of the popularity. We're going to build around you guys. We are going to put every asset, every single investment in making sure that you have every necessity you need. And it's not just on the basketball court. It's making sure you get the right chefs, you got the right food, you got the right training, you got all this stuff at your disposal. And we're going to build around your strengths, you and Luka's strengths. We're going to put shooters around you. We're going to put defenders around you. We're going to put big men on there that are going to be able to spread the offense out so you guys don't feel like you're cluttered in the paint. And this is going to be your future as long as you're here and as long as you're capable of playing. You want to add in some bonuses? There's no snow here. You're not going to have to shovel anything off your windshield.
Well, certain parts of California have.
You're from the Greek islands. You're going to see a lot of nice beaches here, like you saw a lot of nice beaches at home. Your mother will love it here. And there's really no other place in basketball history that's bigger than what this stage is. There just hasn't been anything. Maybe the 1992 Olympic team. That's it. The Lakers are the standard. The location is the standard. The history is the standard. They are number one. They are the greatest basketball franchise in the history of sport, in the history of basketball. And you have a chance to have two jerseys retired next to arguably the greatest player of all time in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. How cool would that be?
It's so funny because you're making the pitch and El Rosto's making the pitch against in the chat. I'll just say this left. If Giannis were in front of me, and
why is he talking about the metric system? What's wrong with you? What does the metric system have to do with anything? There's no. Oh, and I'll put a button on this.
Okay.
I'm bringing Shohei.
There you go.
I'm bringing Shohei to the meeting, the last meeting, because they're going to meet with him more than once. They'll probably have a little bit of a Zoom call, then they'll fly him in, and then they'll have another meeting after that, right? The last meeting, because Jeannie was good at doing, what is it? Didn't she have a VH tape of Tobey Maguire? Are you fucking kidding me? Tobey Maguire? So I bring in Shohei Ohtani in that last meeting.
Remember the Aldridge and Kevin Durant pitches?
I don't want to remember.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But yeah. I do know. Yes. I don't.
Yes. Yeah, don't.
So
don't
you bring in Shohei. You bring in Shohei. and you let Shohei close the deal, because Shohei's been closing a lot of these deals. A lot of the Roki deal, obviously, it's easy because those are Japanese players. He closed the Yamamoto deal. He closed the Roki deal. And a lot of people don't know this, but he closed the Kyle Tucker deal.
Joe David mentioned four open roster spots for his brothers.
So why is this different? We've said it earlier. If you were here late, if he wants to bring Thanasis, Onassis, whoever, all the Nasses, bring them all. Okay, you're more than welcome to bring them. Why is it different than Bronny and LeBron? Because they're free. You're not using draft capital. You're going to be okay at that point. But I don't think that's going to be the case. In all honesty, I think this is a serious business. We need to build this thing so he can win championships. So the difference between Giannis retiring with one championship versus winning maybe 3, maybe 4, is staying in Milwaukee. You get only 1. You go to LA, you'll probably win 3 or 4 total. That's the trade-off. And you get everything that's better than Milwaukee at that point. Everything is better here than Milwaukee.
And Legend, I'm going to give you a shot here in a second for your elevator pitch for Giannis, even though whatever elevator pitch Dunleavy did, it didn't work. I'm going to say this. If I'm Mark Walter, and I know JY is in the chat, his elevator pitch would be Kareem left Milwaukee and came to LA and got a statue. Now it's your turn, something to that extent. And I think that's a good pitch, JY, absolutely. If I'm Mark Walter, I would go ahead and I'd show him one number, and that's 18. And that's the number of world championships the Boston Celtics have. And I would tell them, this eats at me. This number eats at me every single damn day. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it needs to change. And only you can help me make that happen. You can help us get to 18, to 19, to 20 and beyond. You and Luka together can build something that's monumental, that will be recorded for the annals of time, about how the Lakers finally overtook the Boston Celtics, and they'll be sitting on 18 and we'll be sitting on 20 plus. And I'll just say that's it. That's all I have to say. So, Legend, what is your pitch, my friend? Yeah, I know you've got to have Steph Curry come in that room for Golden State.
Yeah, I would have to have Steph right there with me and say, look, this man won with Kevin Durant. He's willing to sacrifice the lead role to let you have it. He did it with KD. Look at all them rings we stacked up. We ran the West. We say what it is, 17, 18, 19. That Western Conference, that was our conference. I don't care about the other Western Conference teams. 17, 18, 19, that was our conference. We ran the show. Everybody else did what we said. We can be the same thing again. For 2-3 years with stuff still here. It's your team. You can help them bring one more along with the greatest shooter to play this game. You two complement each other pretty well. They can't build a wall around you. If I have stuff on this wing with you, they cannot build a wall. Anywhere else, they're gonna still build that wall around you. Come on, man. Think about it. You still in California. You still here. I can't do no better than that. You want me to get rid of Draymond Green? We'll ship his ass out of here too. You tell me. We don't mind.
Well, again, truly appreciate. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead before we close it out. Oh, you're on mute.
I would have loved if they if Giannis had told them, if they had talked to him, the reason why I'm not coming to Golden State is because you guys kept Draymond Green.
Oh man, that was
just to fuck with him, just to stick it in there even more.
So once again, it is the Lakers
because
winning.
I would have said the same thing with if Gabe Vincent was still on his team. Hey man, I ain't coming with no fucking team with Gabe Vincent on it. Fuck you. Really make it really hard for Dunleavy. Well, Dunleavy, how long has he been the GM? 4 years?
3 years? 2, 3
He
years.
made that signing, right?
As far as what? The contract for
for
Draymond?
Draymond when he re-signed him. Yeah, it was him, right?
That was him. That was
yeah.
him.
So yeah, that would. I don't know. I think even if it wasn't true, I think it'd be funny just to say it.
Well, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 119 to 115. We'll be back on Saturday. I believe there is I think there may be even a 2-hour Lakerholics. Not for sure, but it looks like in the 11 o'clock hour on Pacific, you'll have 3 of the guys there. And then afterwards, I will hop on with Rob at noon Pacific to go ahead and talk. And Legend, you're also welcome to join me if you have the time as well to talk with Rob and me and sit in with me, because those guys got to be there at 11. Rob couldn't make it to noon, so I said, let's compromise. Let's go ahead. Jamie will host the first hour. I'll host the second hour of Lakerholics. And then after that, of course, is the game at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. It is the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, Legends team versus my team. Legend, you've got a lot of stuff going on at I Got Next Sports Media. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
In the final stretch, guys, let's get ready for the part that we all probably hate the most, the All-Star game. Let's get ready to watch no defense and get through this crap show, and then we'll get through the final stretch and let's get to the main dish, the playoffs.
There you go. Absolutely, indeed. Once again, go ahead and check out I Got Next Sports Media. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. And speaking of liking and subscribing on YouTube, the Joe Soro Experiment. Have you got any Joe Soro experiments planned in the near future, Joe, as well?
This week, I guess there hasn't been a lot of material for us. Again, I'd like to always try to keep the Lakers primarily on your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say if I don't have anything this week, I'll definitely have a show post Super Bowl and kind of where that goes, and then we'll talk Lakers and Dodgers and stuff. Dodgers are going to be starting up here soon in the next few weeks. Pitchers and catchers will be back in spring training, and
just seemed like yesterday.
We are going to. I know Chris, the illustrator, is going to. We're going to meet up again in Arizona for spring training, and just waiting for. Yeah, actually, I'm not pissed, but I would have preferred Kubiak over McCarthy just because I wanted that young type thing. But again, we'll see how it plays out. But I'm waiting for Jeff to see if we can get our schedules lined up. If he can't get over there at all, then I'm going to probably be over there probably beginning of March. I'll probably celebrate my birthday over there and watch some. I only watched one game last year. I'm going to probably go to maybe 2 or 3 and hang out with the fam and hang out with Chris and really, really have a good time and seeing what this team's going to be.
JY was saying, can't wait until Steph retires and Golden State goes back to the base like in the 90s early. I'll be like, shh. I got nothing but love for Legend.
Well, the thing is, the Warriors were not that bad in 2000. They had some dude. They took out the 1 seed in 2007.
That's true. Good point.
They were fun. The Warriors fan base, I know it might be different in San Francisco, but even when they weren't winning like they were when Steph was at his heights, they still were very popular. I just uploaded an old game on my server. Remember the Kobe 51 versus Anton Jameson 51? That was a hell of a game. I still remember that game. It's kind of just crazy because the copy I got, it's got the commercials from that time, so you get really nostalgic on what was going on at the time. But yeah, the Warriors weren't the Bobcats. They were still exciting. They had some, they had Baron Davis and they had some good talent on their teams during that time. But then again, I think my memory of the Warriors in terms of the Steph thing is New York really wanted Steph Curry, and they got him a slot before New York did. And do you remember who the New York Knicks got after that? I mean, think about that. It must be gnawing at Knicks' memory forever, right? So it was very clear that they were gonna draft Steph Curry, and a lot of people were excited about it. And then the Warriors picked them, and then they got Jordan Hill. It's like All-time greatest shooter ever would have been a god in New York, Hall of Famer, MVP, all that shit to Jordan Hill. Literally a pick later. Like that has to be the worst thing I've heard in terms of drafting. It's got to be one of the worst things.
Well, no, because the worst was actually Khan from the GM of Minnesota. Because remember, in that draft, they drafted Rubio, and they drafted Johnny Flynn around Stephen
They drafted
Curry.
3 point guards in that draft.
Yeah, he had multiple opportunities to get Stephen Curry and blew it. And I remember the only thing I liked that Bill Simmons did was that whenever Khan did something stupid, he would yell out like in Star Trek Wrath of Khan, just really loud as far as something stupid that he did. But Legend, I want to go ahead and just point out one thing before we go. Tony's asking, what are your thoughts on having two favorite NBA teams? He said he personally thinks it's weird for him, so he sticks to one team in every sport. But again, it's how much you love the sport, and if something endears itself to you, that's what you go with. But what when they play each other, or let's say they played each other in the finals, that would be a conflict, and that would, I think, would make you feel weird, wouldn't it?
And prior to that part, play each other in the final, I said it's a win-win for me, because either way, I don't lose anything, because both sides, I like them. So that's a win for me either way. But my favorite player is right up there in Golden State. So I would love it more if he won it, but I love to see my home state to win it too.
So I have to explain this to Vari, because he got defensive, right? He's like, how come you guys still yell at Legend? I go, there's a difference. You're a Pacers fan, and then you got connected with Laker people, and now you want to be like part of the clique. I go, that's not how it works. The reason why Legend likes Atlanta too is because he's from there. It's like you live in San Diego, like I lived in San Diego, right? And I wanted good things for San Diego. I wanted them to stay in San Diego. I didn't want them to go to LA. Like you want that local like environment to still be, supported and good. So that's kind of how that works, in case Vari's watching, because I never really explained it to him. But he got really defensive, and I could feel him crying on the chat, and I was like, I had to calm him down. Why are you guys yelling at me? Yell at Legend. I go, there's a difference. Just like this whole Bronny versus Thanasis thing. Like there's a difference. You can't clump everything in the same thing. Context, people, context. You got to understand context. Did you not? Maybe he's Australian. He doesn't understand the southern drawl that comes from Legend. Like, can't you hear him? Can't you tell he's from the South? I go, that's why. But anyways, I make fun of my cousin who frequents the show. I call him my nephew because he's a young kid. He's my cousin's kid. That Mike family are a bunch of bandwagon guys. They like the Chargers because they lived in San Diego back in the day. They like the Arizona Cardinals, and of course their pops is from Detroit. I'm like, well, what is this? You guys just pick what you want, but they're good in college. Like there's never been anything that's veered off the Michigan thing, which is great, and I give them props for that. But their NFL choices are horrible, dude. You guys need to fix your shit. Like seriously, you guys will drive by a stadium. You'll drive by which stadium is nearby? You'll drive by what the hell are they close to? Let's just say they go by the Utah Jazz arena. I'll be like, yeah, you guys will probably cheer for them just by driving by. And it's kind of an ongoing joke. But yeah, I don't know. I unfortunately don't enjoy the games as much. This World Series was tainted in a lot of ways because I couldn't enjoy it.
I thought it was the best World Series I've ever seen. I enjoyed it.
But I was so fucked up. I couldn't enjoy it. I was the winning was so impactful that I couldn't enjoy it. But I think because it burned so much, this was the worst burn I've ever had. Crazy to think that when I've had teams that have gone to the Super Bowl, my teams that have won the Super Bowl. I've seen how many finals appearances by the Lakers. This one took me out. I don't think I'll ever get this bad again.
Oh, that was just, again, that was a sensational. I enjoyed it. We were on playback as a community. Vari had already broken a headset. I think it was absolutely just fantastic. It was great. And again, watching it with the guys up on your playback channel, Joe, was truly an honor. So, uh, as I would say to Xbox, thank you for everyone that was a part of that for the World Series. Actually, just a fantastic World Series. But again, it is the
I saw
Lakers
the
win.
important parts. Thank God. I really
Yes.
saw I saw the home run, the Miguel home run live. I saw the save at home plate live. I saw the double play in Game 6 live. I saw Paz's catch live. I saw all that, the good stuff live. But it was I think I was pissed off at myself. That's why I stopped watching a lot of those games during that time. I was pissed off that I let a baseball game make me feel like I was gonna have a heart attack. It was just an intelligence thing that I was upset with me. And you could ask my wife whenever I do something stupid. There's no one that gets pissed off more than me, because the first thing I always say is, if somebody else had done this, I would have been smacking them in the head like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was doing that, and that
It
was
was a
pissing
great
me
experience.
off.
I just was watching it with the guys, and it was just I was the only one on board for most of it. Although I think Mark came on at the end with me, and it was just fantastic. I just enjoyed it, and yeah, everybody that was part of that, it was really cool. But uh, the Lakers, they win 119-115. We'll see if they can follow that up with a game against Legends teams, one of Legends teams, the Golden State Warriors, on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back then, and also be back on Saturday with a Lakerholic show. So hopefully you guys will have a good Lakers weekend as well. I will make sure that I drop a Lakers latest on the Fan Arc channel for you guys as well. So I'll go ahead and give you the link on that one in the notes of this channel as well. So please join us. And then if Joe has a Joe Soro
Well,
experiment,
so folks, for those of you who don't know where I am, where the experiment is, just go on YouTube, put in the experiment, at the experiment, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification button. I will have a show for sure after the Super Bowl. If I can get one before the Super Bowl, I will as well. This week has been pretty active. Things are going to start getting active in my world because the spring is coming, and that's when people usually start getting their tax checks. And for some weird reason, tax money returns, people love to start advancing their yards, so because they feel like it's free money. So if the demand is there, if it's verbally there, I will create shows for that. So let everybody know. I'm not doing traditional clickbait stuff, guys. I'm not gonna do selfie videos where it looks like I'm jerking off while I'm talking on the phone. Like, none of that stuff's gonna happen in my arena. I like a little bit of mystery in areas. You guys see me on here. You guys see me every now and then post something on social media, but you guys obviously see that I'm not too active in terms of every minute of the day. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you got to do that to get more views, and I understand that, but I'm stubborn. I want to get the ultimate prize, doing it my way, doing it the right way, and still leaving a little bit of mystery there, so that it makes it a little more unique. So Joe will rate your wife. Yeah, hey, I seriously, guys, if you want me to rate your wives by pictures, I am more than happy to do that. I was a rate guy for a lot of my friends who couldn't talk to girls and couldn't get a date to save their lives. So I was always kind of that guy to help them. And some of them failed and still failed, and some of them were successful.
I think we don't need to go any more into that. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers win. We'll be back on Saturday with a Lakerholics and, of course, the post game for Lakers Warriors. Please like and subscribe. DBSH leaving us the good stuff always. Cannot thank you enough for what you do. Yo, follow his channel, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. He's got over 10,000 subscribers on his channel. Congratulations to him on that. He does some good stuff and good streams as well. So go ahead and support him as well at Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. But again, for Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, Joe Soro from the Joe Soro Experiment, it's me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this thing. We'll be back on Saturday for a full slate of stuff going on with the Lakers. My Lakers latest will be dropping on Friday morning. You get lots of good stuff from us each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. What? No, You're on mute.
Hi, how are you?